We just finished mission 2, and now I'm requesting mission 3 of 10 for the Advanced Military Career Agent. Next up is a kind of interdiction called Warp Disruption. When activated on another ship, these kind of modules tackle it, disabling its warp drive. So basically, in this case, they're going to grant us a warp disruptor. There are warp disruptors and there are warp scramblers. One is longer range but weaker, one is shorter range but more powerful. And a scrambler will actually turn off a micro warp drive, but both of them will prevent your ship from warping. So you can't just warp to a station or warp to a Stargate and get away. So be very careful, but they're also very powerful when you have them equipped to your ship, because you can go after somebody and turn on the warp disruptor and then they can't get away until they get out of range from you, or they kill you, or you run out of capacitor, or for whatever reason you turn off your warp disruptor. Tackling only works if you maintain close distance. Don't let the target slip outside your warp disruptor's range, and have sufficient strength to overpower its warp core. So each ship is going to have a warp core strength, and you can equip warp core stabilizers to make that stronger, but your warp strength is going to depend on anything else you have equipped to the ship. So default, you have 1 warp strength, and a warp disruptor has 1 warp strength. So let's right click on this warp disruptor and do show info. Here we can see description. Now we should see, it should say something about warp points, but I guess we don't actually. Maybe just because this is the civilian one. Civilian warped hour to test it out. So let's accept it and equip it to our ship, and we'll show you how it works. So go to our inventory. In this case, we actually need to fit up another ship, so we could say board my Corvette if we don't have any ship at all, but I do have a combat ship already ready, so I'm going to right click and make active. If you don't have that, you might want to hit up the regional market and go look around and buy a ship and fit it up. But I need to go into my item hangar and take that civilian warp disruptor, and then go to my ship fitting window and equip it to my ship. So I've got too many things equipped. Why don't I take off the stasis web of fire and equip this warp disruptor? Actually, they said maintaining distance is really important, and the stasis web will give us an edge there. So why don't I take off the shield extender and put the stasis web of fire back? This way we can slow them down and prevent them from warping away, and we can prevent them from getting outside of our warp disruptor range, which is 20 kilometers. We can use our web to slow them down and maintain our distance. Now that we have it equipped, the warp disruptor, let's undock and go to the mission location. Okay, I'm going to click warp to location on the left.
Warp drive active.
And I'm going to close my fitting window. Actually, one thing I want to check in my fitting window is the capacitor. So on the right, I'll open up the attributes. We can see here the capacitor is not cap stable. It will deplete in 26 seconds if we have everything on. The biggest draw of capacitor is that small shield booster. We might be cap stable if we have everything but that on. But okay, we're here. We need to activate Warp Scrambler on the Rebel leader. So let's approach him. Let's right click. Let's also lock target. Okay, so it's this one here, Fleeing Pirate. Let's turn on our afterburner to get close. We're already within 20 kilometers, so let's activate that warp disruptor. And now he's given up. He knows he can't get away now because he's been warp disrupted, and he's giving up. If you're in a PvP situation, if you capture a ship like this in your warp disruptor and they know they're going to die, sometimes people are willing to pay a ransom to live. So if they have a really expensive ship and you're about to blow them up, you might want to start a conversation with them and say, hey, if you give me 5 million ISK, I won't blow up your ship. That's a really common tactic among pirates. Okay, well, we're all done, so we just need to click dock and get out of here. You can see the effect visually on him when we have our Warp Scrambler on. So we don't actually have to blow them up in this case for our mission. We can go to our Neocom menu, Activities, Journal, right-click, Start Conversation, and we can see, okay, he might say, you know you haven't finished, but that doesn't mean we haven't finished the objectives. That just
Docking
means we
permission
haven't
requested. Docking
completed
request
the mission and
accepted.
turned it in. So we've got a check mark here, meaning we've completed the objective. So now we can click Complete Mission. And in the next video, I will do Mission 4 of 10.